Wow, man, I totally messed that up. Holy crap. What's going on, everybody? How you all doing today? It is Tuesday. I hope everyone's having a good week. Happy DC Day, I guess we'll call it. New comic book day is tomorrow. Some people I know already have some comics, so don't spoil it. Don't leak anything. But yeah, guys, we got a fun show for you today. I am joined by two out of the three members that we usually roll out here. Few announcements. We're going Grail versus Grail. So I'm hoping the chat gets involved. I really want to hear everybody's opinion on some stuff. We've got 10 rounds, 20 books we're going to be talking about today. If there is time at the end and you guys want to share some thoughts or have any questions, by all means, guys, please ask. Let's talk about it. We're going to see if we can do this, kind of like the NCAA basketball tournament. We'll do 10 books once a month, kind of, the winner moves on and then we do it. So if it's fun, we'll keep doing it. But yeah, I've always kind of wanted to talk about like, all right, which one would you grab and things like that. So without further ado, I got to bring in my crew. Mr. FaceTime, what's going on, man?
What's going on, bro? Have you ever watched the NCAA basketball tournament?
Yeah, all the time. I've been to a few games.
Setup is nothing like it.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm going to write down who wins each round, and then, the next time we do something like this, maybe we can, what's it called? Put those ones against each other. So yeah, we'll see. We'll have fun with it. It's a conversation I think a lot of people want to have. So
yeah, it's definitely a good conversation.
And guys, let's bring in Mr. On Time, Mr. Blue Pill. It is Hyper Combo.
It's Red Pill, by the way, not Blue Pill.
Oh man, I don't know what you guys.
Always gonna be Blue Pill.
What's up?
That is not gonna
kids, you damn kids with your rap music.
It's a movie reference. Oh my gosh. Matrix, Red Pill, Blue Pill.
Oh, I know. I'm aware of the movie.
It's your story. Tell it however you want.
I gotta ask, are you excited that we finally get to talk about Grails?
Yes.
Perfect. That's all I needed to know. So yeah, guys, I want to thank. Whoa, what was that?
I have no idea.
It's not my phone. I know that. Yeah. So before we get started, guys, because we are a professional show, or at least we like to think that anyway, we got to thank some friends of the show, starting with Big B Comics. There's 3 stores, Niagara, Barry, Hamilton. I rep the Niagara one, so hence why I put their information there. Check them out on their eBay page, and also check out their Barry and Hamilton. I know there's a lot of Southern Ontarians here and who follow me, so make sure you guys check them out if you don't know. Next up is Bleecker Street Comics. Guys, I cannot stress enough, especially for the local guys here in Southern Ontario. I know Johnny Dakota does a good job. He's out west. But here, guys, man, Bleecker Street just took one of my books. He bumped it up at least a full grade. Like at least a full grade. Man, he's my presser right now. He does awesome job, very thorough. So make sure you guys go check him out. $10 to press, $5 to clean. There's his website. He's got like 2,000 books, more to come. And for those local guys, he will be going to the flea market soon to setting up shop. So be on the lookout for that. Kaka! Did I get it right?
It's better.
Yeah. All right. Bird City Comics, again, another friend of the channel. Check them out at Bird City Comics on Instagram. Check out their store variants and other things. Anthony is a solid dude, so make sure you guys go check Bird City Comics out. Next one, if anybody's looking for a logo or an intro video, anything like that, go hit up Shape State Creative. hello@shapestate.ca. Ask for Derek. He'll take care of you. And Mutant Beaver Comics here in Canada. Use code word newbie10. Get 10% off. They sell a lot of books. Go check them out. Again, that code word is newbie10. Boom.
Damn popular.
Yeah, shoot. Pretty soon I'm gonna be like sponsored by Bud Light Lime and like, Cavassier or Hennessy, something crazy, but who knows.
Dream big.
Yeah. So before we get started, guys, I just want to acknowledge the chat real quick. Sam Rock, what's going on, man? You got the gold medal. Renos coming in second with the silver. And Dan, the man, Dan De La Torre, in with the bronze. What's going on, man? How you doing? I've been chatting with Dan this afternoon, actually. Solid dude. Johnny, what's going on? Free Key Louie, thank you, sir, for joining. Bleecker Street right there. Trucking with Comics.
That was
Gale of Suspense. What's going on, man? My other and maybe the only Iron Man fan in the community I think I know outside of myself.
Okay. You guys must have your own fan club.
There is two.
Yeah, there's that too. I think there's two. I think T. Sands, he's also an Iron Man fan too, because we usually talk about Tales of Suspense 39 quite a bit. So
you guys must feel like Will Smith and I Am the Legend, like where like you guys are like the only one, right?
Right?
Hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. K Keel, what's going on, man? Hyper Team Nerd Herd, what is going on? Top of the evening. I think where you guys are, it's like what? It's almost 10 here, so it's like 7, 8-ish there.
It's 6:40 over there.
Yeah, 6:40. Sean, what's going on? Ancient Mariner and Hawaiian Punch, what's going on? And everybody else who is watching that we may not know about, welcome. As you guys know, this is Newbie, FaceTime, and Hyper. We are missing our fourth musketeer. Yes, I said it, our fourth musketeer, Mr. Key Issues. I know he had a little mix-up with work where he had to find out last minute he actually had to work tomorrow. So he would have been on, I'm assuming anyway. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but yeah, I know he's got to work tomorrow now. So it's just 3 of us for tonight. He's in spirit. His information and these guys' information is in the description. So as always, guys, support the community. All right. Renos, Bud Light Lime tastes like soap. Hey, yeah, well, so does soap. What is going on, Chris, Vancouver Comic Junkie? All right, so here we go, guys. This is what I think a lot of people are here for. We're putting up grails to grails. We're going to be talking about price points. Which would you rather have, basically, and things like that. So,
hey, look, your buddy showed up, Comic Dud.
Comic Dude, man.
Oh, man.
Dude.
Here we go.
Dude. Hey, guys, Comic Dude here. I apologize, man. I apologize. I even said it. I was like, oh, man. But my English isn't the greatest.
Good shot, man.
Yeah. Star Wars theme. What's going on, man? All right, guys. So let's get started. Oh, shoot. I don't even have it. There we go. I'm not really techie. A lot of people think I'm like techie and stuff since I've gotten these PowerPoints, but I'm not. I really am not. All right. Brick Hunter, I choose Ultimate Fallout 4. Don't need to look at any other book. Whoa, okay, cool.
Cool.
That's awesome. All right, so I guess that's a wrap, guys. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, that's cool. We're going to be talking about various books. Like I said at the top of the show, if there is a grail that you guys want to talk about at the end, or a book that we didn't talk about, we can talk about it at the end. Again, remember, a grail is subject. It's not. It doesn't have to be a $5,000 book, $10,000 book, whatever. It could be whatever. So just keep that in mind, and let's have fun. So we're gonna do it boxing style. Here we go, guys. Round 1. So we've got first appearance of Moon Knight versus first appearance of Punisher.
Listen, first of all, just because you call this shit rounds, bro, don't mean it's anything like boxing. You don't have different contenders in each round. You're fucking up all your sports references today.
It is what it is. 10 rounds, heavyweight, whatever.
Wait, isn't there 12 rounds in boxing?
Yes.
Usually.
Yeah.
I said like boxing. All right. So anyway, so we got first appearance of Moon Knight, first appearance of Punisher. What we tried to do is try to get similar grades, show you guys price points, or just get 2 books along the same lines in the same price points. So here we got a 4.5 CGC. Again, these numbers and the price tag on them is based on last Wednesday's sales. So it could have changed since then, but we're going based on last Wednesday. So we got Moon Knight again, this book has been up there in price for a very long time, even before the Moon Knight stuff. I remember back in 2013, 14, people were still saying, oh man, this could be huge book, blah, 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 blah. It was always super pricey as well. It did hit the $1,000 mark long time ago. Then you have, arguably, when you talk to probably anybody in the community, you bring this book up. Like when you ask people, hey man, if I gave you 10 books and you could put them on your wall, what would you get? I mean, 9 out of 10 would probably put this one up there. You know, it's iconic. People get it low grade, high grade. It does not matter. Even though we've already seen The Punisher, it's still a book that holds super value. This one's tough for me, but just going by the iconicness and the longevity, dare I say, I think I would rather have that ASM 129. Not to say I would never get a Werewolf 32, but just my heart would say ASM 129.
Yeah, man. So like, you know, man, it is a tough call because I like both these characters. Really like Moon Knight. He's obviously one of my favorite characters because he's crazy as shit. And then, you know, Punisher is pretty much same boat. You know, he doesn't necessarily have different personalities or anything like that, but obviously he's crazy as shit, just running around killing people. So definitely two of my favorite characters. I would love to have both of them in my collection ultimately, but if I had to pick one over the other, yeah, I think I'm gonna have to take that Punisher, to be honest, because he just has more prominence really than Moon Knight. And you know, yeah, Moon Knight's getting a series, but I'm just not sure that you can overtake the kind of prominence that the Punisher already has. So
yeah, I think the other thought to just keep in mind here too is we've seen Punisher already, but there is talks that, you know, they signed the character, so he will be coming back, right, to play the role of Punisher. So there is another bump. The Moon Knight one, we know he's coming, but if you're just talking about just the financial, you know, just on the finances here, that Werewolf one will probably go up with a big bump once the show starts going. Like for, you know, like the week leading up to that, you're going to see bonkers. It's going to go bonkers. I don't think a 4.5, and again, guys, these prices aren't Canadian, so just keep that in mind. I don't think that 4.5 CGC a week before the show goes is going to be at $1,250. That's probably a $1,800 book in my opinion. Like we've seen it, just these crazy bumps, right? So, and in the chat, it seems like it's 50-50. I'm going through here, and like every other one is like, you know, Moon Knight, Punisher, Moon Knight, Punisher. So this one, it seems like a lot of people are 50-50 on.
Here's my thing on this. From a personal preference, I would go ASM 129. Because Punisher is on one of my top 3 or top 5 characters that I actually want to get their first appearance of. In terms of where between the two books, which one I think has the greater potential for growth, it would be Werewolf by Night. Only because that book has steadily maintained a high value without any appearances in actual media from the character himself. It's been pure comic buzz and, you know, just fans being, you know, it just had a cult following with Moon Knight. Whereas Punisher, we've seen different iterations. We've seen, you know, John Bernthal in the Netflix. We've seen the Thomas Jane movies. Dare I say even Dolph Lundgren in the Punisher. I don't know if that actually counts for anything, but Punisher has basically hit the media several times, and I can't see how much more of a, like, I feel the ceiling for the Punisher is a lot lower than it is for Moon Knight. I just feel that there's a lot more of a higher ceiling, especially when the character hits the MCU. And also keep in mind, you know, with the climate that we are in, with the whole controversy surrounding the Punisher, we can't say that the Disney will just completely ignore all criticism and will use the Punisher to its, because you got to remember, Disney is also a publicly traded company. They're not the Wild Wild West, so they do tend to have the ears to social, I guess, concerns about certain characters. So I'm a bit more hesitant with the Punisher in terms of long-term growth. I mean, in terms of greater growth in the future. So that's why I'm picking Werewolf by Night.
Yeah, I like if somebody approached me and said, "Hey man, here you can have one of these. Which one do you want?" I would just go for the ASM 129 just because of the iconicness. But here's the thing with the other one: it's not to say that that one doesn't or couldn't get to that stage. It's just you got to think we've never seen Moon Knight. We don't know what angle they're coming or anything like that. The other thing that comes to mind too is if it flops, this could go down really fast, right? And it just becomes, dare I say, common. Not necessarily common where you're going to see it in dollar bins. No, but it's gonna drop down in price, right? So that 4.5, 12 might not be at a 12.50, right? The other thing too to consider is Vancouver Junkie just mentioned it. ASM 129 has a 12,000 slab count. Werewolf by Night only has, I think, 3,300 or something like that. So it could be something to be on the lookout for. But again, there could be people that are just hoarding that Werewolf 32 still, right?
But the thing is, even if, like, let's just say worst case scenario, the MCU thing with Moon Knight doesn't pan out the way they wanted to, you got to keep in mind just the fact that this book intrinsically has been growing without, like I said, without any media casting behind it for all these years. Even if it does drop, it still has a good spot that it's going to drop at. Like, I can't see it dropping below its current value. If anything, it might just, take it down a notch once that spike comes from the initial trailer whenever it's released.
I personally think too. I think the Moon Knight thing will be a success, and I think it will be a book that only goes up in value. I really do.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. So Face, my vote is if somebody offered me these two, I'm picking ASM 129. Hyper, is going the same route. Which route are you going?
I'm taking the ASM 129 because of the,
again
of Punishment. But I thought Hyper was taking Werewolf.
So did I. He thought he was going to go.
No, I am taking Werewolf. Like, in terms of from an investment side, it's just that just for my own PC, I'd much rather have the ASM 129. Just for my own collection, I'm saying, because between the two, I'm more of a Punisher fan than a Moon Knight fan. But I'm just saying, in terms of an investment, I find Werewolf is a better play.
Yeah, I'll tell you this,
Ethan
man.
Hawke
I remember.
Great.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Face.
Ethan Hawke as Dracula would be great. Ultra Maximus was just putting in chat there.
Star Wars Fiend, Werewolf by Night is the logic choice if you're thinking value, long-term potential. If you're being true to the Grail question, 129 ASM, it's an iconic book and many comic collectors put that up in their top 5. Yeah, exactly, right?
And I mean, I think that's ultimately what it boils down to is, 129 just seems to fit the definition of, one of the top Grails.
Yeah. And yes, this has happened too. This book is also just spiking really crazy right now. So, for people who might be chasing it or have a few options,
coming back to Marvel.
What's that?
With the news that, Marvel might be doing something with the Punisher and everything like that, that's not too surprising.
Yeah. But we'll see. I mean, it'll come back down again when, they can say they're coming out and doing something, but it's not going to be tomorrow or next week, right? So, we'll see.
And just a tangent, just related to this, because I don't know if you guys were aware, but Disney Plus added the whole Star lineup to their catalog last night. So basically now you have M-rated content on Disney Plus, which is kind of a trip because, like, the first movie I watched was Predator, so I didn't think I would watch Predator on a Disney Plus stream.
Oh.
So yeah. So now we actually do have MA content on Disney Plus.
Damn, look at that. All right, so I guess it's a clean sweep. ASM 129 takes it. Round 2, gentlemen.
Oof.
This one I tried to at first I was gonna put 300 versus 129, but it just didn't seem right. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna put 300 with New Mutants 98. Basically, for the grade and price tag, you're looking similar, especially with how much New Mutants has shot up in the last 3 weeks, month or so. I think this is a really good comparison. I really think this is a good book to put beside one another. I own 300. I do not own 98. If you're looking at a value standpoint, I think New Mutants 98 has the more value because, we're going to get another Deadpool. So right now I would say that. But however, I don't think that they're done with Venom. And they could be done after this second one and maybe not touch Venom for 5-6 years. But that's exactly the right time that you want to buy Venom. So I've had a couple guys and ladies actually asked me in the last couple of weeks, like what I would recommend for buying ASM 300. And I said, you know what? I think right now it's just a little crazy. And I think you might be able to get a deal right after when the movie passes. Because I'm pretty sure the movie comes out in the fall or like early next year, right? So
They keep
that's the thing too, right? Like things keep changing, so we don't really know. But I thought that this was a good competition between two. But I guess I'm seeing in the chat's going crazy saying, like, right off the bat, it was, 300, New Mutants, 300, New Mutants, 300. Oh, okay, New Mutants, New Mutants. Ooh, man. I guess all of these depend on two things: what you want in your collection, and/or if you're looking at it as an investment, right? Like if you're trying to get money, make money off of them, right? But yeah, I think my choice right now would be ASM 98, New Mutants 98, simply because I already own ASM 300. So for those reasons, my choice is New Mutants 98.
Well, shit, then I'm gonna let Hyper go ahead and go first since he's got.
Okay, all right. Well, in this case, I actually have both. So for me, I don't have to pick and choose.
There you go.
But listen, it's a bit of I find there's a lot of parallels between both characters because, both are cult favorites, and both I feel some might even argue have been almost played out in a sense where all of those Venomized covers, and you see, like, it seemed like we were getting a lot of Venom fatigue at one point, and the same thing with Deadpool. I found that at a certain point, Deadpool was pretty much everywhere in comics, whether it's variants and all that. So there are similarities, but man, you know what? Even though Venom is my guy, I'm gonna have to go with New Mutants 98 on this one, just because I find that we know for a fact that Deadpool is coming to the MCU. Venom is still a Sony property, and also it seems like Venom is hitting like high price points that we've never seen before on that book, whereas New Mutants I find still has a lot more room to grow compared to ASM 300. So man, I'm gonna have to go with New Mutants 98 on this one. It just, as much as I prefer ASM 300, if I were a buyer, I would actually go New Mutants 98.
See, this is what I love when we get the numbers, right? So ASM 300 CGC census is, let's call it 24,000, right? New Mutants, you got 20,000. So again, I get 4,000 is a lot, but you're basically talking price point, grade versus grade and things like that. You're basically talking about kind of the same. That's why I put these two books together, right? It's a good battle to have. Realistically though, like I'm seeing a lot of people in the chat saying, oh, I would get this one for a flip. Either one of these is good for a flip because let's face it, Deadpool's coming. So, if you buy it, it's just going to go up. I really think there's going to be another dip before it goes back up. So I would wait to buy it. ASM 300, same thing. I know the movie's coming and there's going to be a huge bump when the movie comes. After that though, it's not going to be done for Venom. Like they're not bringing in Venom and finally getting the rights to everything, not to have, our Spider-Man, whether it be Tom Holland or whoever. But like, I truly believe that Tom Holland will don the black suit. So I think Venom does have a long-term future and it will only bump it higher than it is now. So for me, like I said, it's New Mutants only because I already have ASM 300. So I'm taking this as somebody comes up to me in the middle of the street and goes, well, I don't know why I would be in the middle of the street. Someone comes up to me in the sidewalk and goes, hey, Luke, you can have one of these. What do you want? I'd probably take New Mutants 98 because I don't have it. Face, where are you on this, man?
So, I mean, New Mutants 98 is cool and everything. It's the first appearance of Deadpool. But that's really all it's got going for it. I mean, that's it. It's first Deadpool. Yeah, all right, cool. Amazing Spider-Man 300, though. Like, we're talking Grail versus Grail here, and ASM 300 is pretty much the definition of a Grail book for most people. It's one of the most iconic covers on probably one of the most iconic titles ever.
Sorry, which one did you say, Face? I apologize.
ASM 300.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's, you know, I mean, how many times have you seen homages to that cover?
Yeah.
You know, and it's an ASM key, and they just, you know, they last forever. So it's like Batman. You know, ASM Spider-Man's not going anywhere. So yeah, I'll take that Amazing Spider-Man 300.
Yeah, I think if you have these, you can't go wrong with either. To be honest with you, for a flip purpose, for a PC purpose, if it's your Grail, things like that. I'll be honest with you guys. When I got mine last week, I was happy as hell. And I've already been offered some offers for it, and it really is hard to think about that book not being in my collection. So yeah, it's tough. But the other reason too, and you know, a lot of people in the chat are bringing this up because, you know, a lot of people do, but it's print run. The print runs are similar as well, right? So yeah. So Face, you're going 300. I'm going New Mutants 98. Hyper. Where are you?
I'm going New Mutants 98, but I'm telling you, I'm going New Mutants 98
It's cool. You guys are allowed to be wrong.
Yeah, it's true. So I'm entitled to my opinion. That's how I look at it.
Listen, I'm going New Mutants 98 for the first appearance of Gideon. I found Deadpool just a bonus in that issue.
That's true. I did forget about Gideon. That changes everything.
I'm just playing with the chat, by the way. I'm
also remember, just like we have the Gambit discussions, just like we have the Hulk discussion, and there's a few other ones. There's also the Venom discussion, and I think this one is kind of put under the rug a lot. And I think the two that really come up is Gambit and Hulk before Venom. But yeah, guys, just remember and I'm not saying Ultra's wrong. I will never say anyone is wrong. Well, there's some people that I'll be like, no, you're wrong. But yeah, I mean, you do see a lot in 299. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Who knows? Because one day, and maybe 50 years from now, somebody in CGC will, you know, bump their head and be like, "Oh shoot, okay, we got to correct this." And then they'll come out, have a press conference, and be like, "Hey, first appearance of Venom is actually 299." Boom. You never know, right? But yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's not.
That's true. Okay, so I guess it's New Mutants 98 for the win, 2-1. I think this would have been crazier if Keys was here, because if we would have had, like, you know, ties or anything, that's
again, like, see, like, my heart.
We'd have had to defer to chat, and Sense would have taken over, and ASM 300 would have won this argument.
Here's the thing: my heart says 300, but my greediness and my wallet says go New Mutants 98 for that.
Your collection says New Mutants 98 because you don't have it.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at, because let's say this hypothetically, that person who comes up to me in the side of the street, I'm in that scenario, the person is offering me a 9.8 graded of both books and saying, which one do you want? Right? And I would still probably go the New Mutants, again, only because I don't have New Mutants. So,
but you know what, though? This is actually kind of funny, because I'm going to throw a spoiler out there for later in the show. There's a really shitty matchup down the road here that's probably going to be almost unanimous that I'm actually going to end on the opposite side of, for similar reasons as Hyper and Noob.
All right. Okay. Doc J, what's going on, man? Yeah, so a lot of these, though, I'm looking in the chat, and I got my little notepad here collecting, like, you know, we're doing our votes, but I'm also taking a look at the chat. And, guys, the first round was literally 50-50. This round is literally, it's looking like, you know, 51-49. So it just goes to show you, it depends on the person, depends on your collection and the way the way you collect, right?
I think this is like one of the rare instances where I actually end up having both books, but I mean, we'll see what
Yeah, yeah. Now you're just showing off, man. So
No. Just saying.
oh, I heard both books. That was like the first thing you said. That was your first comment. The first book.
And we're ending with that also. So it's a,
All right, guys. Round 3. And if you're a fan of UFC, usually fighters don't make it to this round. So this might be new to you. This one is a little different because the grades and the price points are not necessarily the same. Are they both Fantastic Four? Well, if you can read, yes, they are. But we got Fantastic Four number 48, first appearance of Silver Surfer, and I guess Galactus, because Galactus's first full is in 49. Yeah. And then we have Fantastic Four 52, first appearance of Black Panther. I don't even have to tell you guys what that book is. It is a good point. I mean, there's a $500 difference in 2 grades there, but I think it's a good battle between both of them because you're going basically off a book that will be iconic versus a book that is coming up. So, I think it's a good fight. Me personally, I own Black Panther. I think it's a cool book to have. It really is, even with everything that's going on. 48, me being a Silver Surfer guy, I think that's where my heart would be. But that book is just getting crazy now. I mean, a 2.5 for $1,400, basically, that's insane. I know we've seen Black Panther already, right? Like we've seen a movie, and he's going to be recast and whatever they do, so it's not going to be T'Challa or anything like that. I think that the 52 will always have a special place in every collector who has it, just because of that fact that we're not really going to get that character back. 48, from an investment side, I think has huge legs, right? Silver Surfer, I think, is going to be huge. Print run's a little big on that, and a lot of people don't realize it, though. That's the one thing that was brought to my attention not too long ago, is that 48 has a big print run. So I don't know. This one for me right now is a tie, and I'm probably going to depend on what you guys say to kind of sway my vote, because realistically, again, if somebody approached me with a 9.8 of this book on the side of the street, right now, I'm asking this guy, like, hey, what's your favorite color? Hey, tell me something about you, because I'm trying to just buy myself some time on what book I would really take.
Leave it as a newbie to make it weird. I mean, for me, Galactus is one of my favorite characters, obviously. Yeah. And while, maybe it's not first full, it is still, cameo and everything like that. And you do got the first appearance of Silver Surfer. On the other hand, Black Panther, always a solid buy, historically speaking. And it's seen a lot of gains, since the movies have come about and everything like that. But honestly, I think ultimately it comes down to, what I've said with each of these books so far that we went through. 48 just fits the definition of the Grail book to me more. It's that cover that you see that people want in their collection, the one that, makes the list more often than, 52 is going to. So I got to go with 48 on this one.
Yeah. Hyper, where do you stand, man?
Oof. I mean, I am a fan of Black Panther. I thought it was one of my favorite franchises from the previous MCU phase. But I'm going Fantastic Four 48. Only because between the 2 characters, I just find that Silver Surfer and Galactus, even though Galactus is considered a cameo, it's a 1-2 punch. Whereas, Fantastic Four 52 is just Black Panther. And also, the characters are a lot more versatile, I find, in 48. Like you see, and we know that Marvel's going to be going more that cosmic route in the MCU. And it just, in terms of a historical sense, I just find, even though they're only 4 issues apart, I just find that Galactus and Silver Surfer mean a lot more to the Marvel comic, history than Black Panther. So for those reasons, I'm just going to, and also I just find there's a higher room for growth
Yeah.
For
You
that
also
book.
got to keep in mind too, Stan Lee's favorite character is Silver Surfer. When asked what his favorite character is, he said Silver Surfer, right? That's his guy. I see the argument for both books. Again, you can't go. I personally don't think you can go wrong. I'm sure there's people out there that will, watch this, are watching this, disagree because that's just what's in their nature. People just like to disagree. I really don't see a problem either way. Again, if somebody approached me with a 9.8 of this book, I could go either way here. For what Hyper said, yeah, I kind of understand it a little bit more. I'm kind of seeing Hyper's way, though, more of a investment, right? Like the way you were talking about it, like, okay, it's going to be cosmic, it's going to be bigger. Yeah. So if I'm looking at legs, right, I think Fantastic Four 48 will see a jump 100%, way more than that Fantastic Four 52. But I will
Why
say,
do I feel like Newbie was just checking out the Watcher's legs?
but I will say that 52 now will always be, and I say now because of the events that happen, right? Like, I don't want to get too much into it. It's been a while, but yeah, we all know, Chala's not going to be donning the Black Panther suit. But I do think that the Black Panther issue will always be one of those that everybody wants to have in their collection just because of the rarity, just because, especially the people who were around and watched, Chala and that character be Black Panther for that short time, right? So I think it's going to speak to those people a lot more. If I were to turn around and see one of these, I can't go wrong with them. Because Silver Surfer is my guy, I previously owned 52 before my YouTube journey.
Really?
I had a 3.0. But this was like way back in I'm talking like 2013, 2014 maybe. My 3.0 sold for like 250.
Oh.
Yeah, but that's what they were going for back then.
Okay, yeah, at the time, yeah, you're right. Yeah,
so you got to go with the times. Back then, at the time, it was that's what they were going for.
Wait, quick question. Do you remember how much you actually paid for it?
I paid 190, 180, somewhere around there. If I'm not mistaken.
Price has really gone up.
Yeah, but I would go with Silver Surfer only because he is one of my favorite characters as well. So I would probably go with 48.
Okay.
So I'm going 48.
Dramatic pause.
Hyper, you're going 48.
Yeah.
Face is going 48. This is a clean sweep. 3-0. I thought this was going to be a little tighter.
It's unanimous for the first time.
No, we got the ASM 129.
No, I picked Werewolf by Night on that one.
Yeah. Someone approached me with a 9.8 of either book. I'd point them towards someone else, hopefully with money.
Or assault them and try and get both.
I can't even imagine how much. Is there even?
Yeah, I'm thinking a 9.8 in the 48 is probably, it's got to be somewhere in that 20 grand range. And Fantastic in 52 in the 9.8, it's got to be in the same ballpark. You're looking at almost 50 grand, if not more, if somebody approached you with a 9.8 in this, right? So,
but this is an honest question. Does a 9.8 actually exist for FF48?
I don't know. It's hypothetical, Hyper.
Yeah.
There might be one.
No. I'm asking. I don't know if someone in the chat might know, because I'm just genuinely curious if a book of that, in that Silver Age, caliber actually has a 9.8 grade on it.
Yeah. I will say this though, because I was looking. I'm looking for some books. My 3.0 Black Panther I sold for $250 Canadian. The same grade now goes for $600, $650, right? So in 8 years, it's gone up like $400. So it's not that crazy, right? It's not like the book went to like $1,200, $1,500, right? So
no. And the thing is, a lot of these books, I kind of find that when they peak, the growth in later years is not going to be as as big as it once was. I mean, the growth will still be there, but it's almost like you kind of have to look at it as like blue chip stocks at that point.
Yeah. Chris is saying 3 sales in 9.8 for.
Wow.
There you go.
Way more when Silver Surfer actually does come, because a lot of people are hoarding it. So, all right, hoarding, whatever. Round 4. Here we go. for all the DC people out there who maybe thought, hey, Newbie's just going to be talking DC, Marvel. No, I got some DC for you. One of my favorite female characters, I mean, I don't think I can say female, but it's Poison Ivy. So we're putting up Poison Ivy versus Harley Quinn. Again, the grades are a little off, right? We got Batman 181 at a 5.0 going for 1,050. Let's call it 1,100. And then we got Batman Adventures 12 in a 9.2 for 1,100. Same price, basically, two different characters. One kind of nearing the end of her journey, one possibly starting it. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm going Poison Ivy all day. That's my opinion. I won't even entertain the Batman Adventures 12. I'm Poison Ivy all day. It's been a book that's always been on my Grail list, my wish list. It was on my wish list in 19 last year and this year. But they're very hard to come by, especially in high grade and things like that. Batman Adventure ones, I think that we'll be able to get it a little cheaper as Harley Quinn is kind of already on the downs, on the downspin. My vote would be Batman 181, just for those reasons. And again, it's probably going to spike once this character does come, which I truly believe Poison Ivy one day will come.
Well, as far as Harley being on the downspin, there was just, I don't know if it was today or yesterday, an article that I was reading about James Gunn working more with DC and specifically Margot Robbie. So I don't think we're done with Harley. Yeah, I don't think we're done with the live action Harley yet. Man, as far as comic book potential, I mean, the thing is, like, Harley was originally introduced as a villain, but she's taken on life as, a hero now and everything like that. And hero spec tends to always beat villain spec. I do like the fact that the Poison Ivy is much older, and everything like that. But I think ultimately, again, it comes down to, that Batman Adventures 12, that cover, again, you see it on more Grail lists and everything. So that's more, I feel like, fitting of the definition of Grail for me. So I got to take the Batman Adventures 12.
Whew, okay. Hyper, where do you stand on this book, man?
What? Right off the bat, compared to your other three picks before, you have two books in completely different eras.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So for that alone, like that, right off the bat, gives 181 a leg up just because for the historical purpose of it. And I just find that, listen, this is just my opinion. I just find that Harley Quinn's a bit played out at this point in terms of comics, media, everything. I'm cosplay.
You guys sound like a fucking hater.
I'm not hating. Look. It just feels like I feel like the well is kind of getting dry with Harley Quinn at this point. This is why we're getting Punchline and these other characters kind of freshen things up in DC. I just feel like she's not borderline Deadpool. And I mean, you know what? I would say she's getting into that Deadpool category in terms of pop culture relevance. So I just feel that 181 has, better growth. And I just feel that even though Batman Adventures 12 could see some growth down the line, I just feel that the cap is lower on that one than the 181. So I'm picking 181.
Well, again, you guys are allowed to be wrong.
And okay, but here's the thing, Face. I know you said that normally you go heroes versus heroes over villains, but I kind of find that with Batman's rogue galleries, I kind of take it. To me, it's a bit of an exception because I kind of find that they're more, because he has iconic villains that kind of stand the test of time, such as Joker,
Right, and I'm one of the biggest fans of the Joker, but the thing is, these Batman villains are fucking 80 years old. So yeah, of course their keys are insanely expensive and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Harley Quinn is much newer, so she hasn't had the time to, get as high a value. And obviously that book's never gonna, it's not gonna be the same because of the age factor in these two books.
Yeah.
For me, it's just, it just comes down to more people tend to want that Batman Adventures 12 as a Grail book in their collection. You see it on lists all the time, whereas you don't often see people picking Batman 181.
No, I agree with that. Yep, I agree.
Yeah, that's true because, like I said, because between the two of them, Harley Quinn is a lot more.
Yeah, it's the character.
In the mainstream is a lot more relevant than Poison Ivy at the moment. So yeah, so for that reason, they would want to get her first appearance versus Poison Ivy. I just feel, in terms of growth and just like I said, the whole historical aspect of it, I'm just picking Batman 81 as between the two.
So 2-1, we've got Batman 181. Also, J Doc, thank you for that information. So he's saying hyper. For your information, CGC 9.8 for Black Panther 52. 5 of them exist. Whereas 48 for issue 48 in Fantastic Four,
45
exist. 1 is restored.
Wow.
So
I didn't think there was that many out there.
Yeah, and you know what? This has been something that's been brought up to my attention. With that Fantastic Four 48, it's got a massive print run, but the fact is, you're only seeing the lower grades right now. Wait until Silver Surfer and Galactus come out. We're probably going to see a lot of them. So I don't know. That's kind of why I stayed away from that Fantastic Four 48 to begin with, because of where the price tag is on some of the lower grades. I don't think it'll hold up moving forward, right? I don't think just because the movie comes out, once these other higher grades books come out, I don't think it'll move everything like, say, another book would, like Hulk 181 or something like that. But all right, so Batman 181 takes it. Poison Ivy, and again, price-wise, I mean, if we ever did get a Poison Ivy, anything animated series or whatever, I could totally see the price going up. That Harley one, I mean, it's really going to take a lot for the price to go up, just because we already see her kind of everywhere in the DC universe, right?
And not for nothing, I know that Face mentioned also how Harley's taking more of a heroic standpoint. Poison Ivy is also kind of teetering on that hero side as well. She's not. She used to be more of like all bad, but we've seen lately that she's kind of flirting on the side of good as well. So she's also kind of almost an anti-hero. Not quite there yet, but like she's kind of on that line.
Right, and that storyline is very heavily dependent on who else? Oh, Harley Quinn. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I figured,
Yeah.
All right, we're going into round 5.
Okay.
Actually, before we move on, that's another point too to make. Harley Quinn is one of the things that has tended to make Poison Ivy gain popularity too recently. So,
meaning like she's like Poison Ivy's.
Her relationship with Poison Ivy in the comics has, given more popularity to Poison Ivy. So,
well, because I think that once Poison Ivy does come, we're going to see that whole. And again, Face, you've heard me say this about the markability and things like that. Harley Quinn, super popular. You have, little girls dress up, teenage girls. I remember, when that character came, you'd see people, young girls, dress up for Halloween and things like that. It's all about markability. I think that Poison Ivy can get to that level and make that book very strong as well. I think once we see Poison Ivy in something, I think it'll get big.
The big problem with that character is that they cannot market the same Poison Ivy to you as they're going to market to little kids, because we know damn well what you want, and it's not the same thing that parents are going to take their kids to see. That's one of the bigger problems with Poison Ivy, where they can get away with more flexibility on that with someone like Harley Quinn, using the different outfits that she wears. Poison Ivy doesn't really have that that luxury so much, when she tends to mostly wear leaves.
Hey, I'm okay with it. Oh, like a famous person once said, "Let it ride." All right.
Yeah, well, they tried to let it ride one time with Uma Thurman, and that shit didn't turn out very fucking well. So
yeah. But
shout out to Uma Thurman.
Yeah, it's just what is she watching? Shout out to Uma. All right, moving on to round 5, and again, I think this, I tried to do as best as I could to get it kind of in the same era, same price point, same grade, but I think this one will be super fun. I mean, the other ones were too, but This one is a little close. So we got Fantastic Four number 5. What is this? This is the first appearance of Doctor Doom, one of the biggest villains. Even though we've already seen him twice in movies and he's been shit, this book has still got, crazy value. It's early Fantastic Four. It's a dope cover in my opinion, but again, it's biased because I'm a huge Fantastic Four fan. Who's his opponent? Well, we have X-Men number 1. Again, guys, look at the price point. On the Fantastic Four number 5, we've got CGC 4.5 for 11 grand. Okay, that's pocket change. No, I'm just kidding. That's not pocket change. And then we have X-Men 1 with a 4.0 for 15 grand. Here's the thing. X-Men, in my opinion, will keep going. I mean, I think both of these books will be going up, and here's why. We've already seen, like I said, we've already seen Doctor Doom twice in horrible movies, but the book is still there. Again, it's early Fantastic Four. You can't go wrong. X-Men, this will just continue to go up. We're going to get both franchises. In my opinion, if somebody came up to me and said, newbie, I got both these books, you can only pick one. Me personally, I am going with a Doctor Doom. Just my opinion. Just because I have, in my PC, that's what I would want to see. It's probably a coffin book. What I mean by that, it's going in my coffin when I go. So for
how many books do you have in your coffin at this point? Are you gonna have room for the body?
Man, I don't know, man. I've got like 10 or 12, so I don't know. But in my opinion, the one to have out of this one, in this round rather, is Fantastic Four number 5 for me. First appearance of Doctor Doom. What are you saying, Mr. FaceTime?
Man, like Doctor Doom is another one of my favorite characters. And while I may personally be partial to that comic book, X-Men number 1 is fucking X-Men number 1, man. It is a Grail. That's absolutely the definition of a Grail book. Whenever you see that cover, man, like that is on every list within the top 5 for the most part. So, how are you not gonna take that one? I gotta go X-Men 1.
Hyper, where are you on this, man?
Listen, both great books, but I kind of feel this round is actually a fairly easy choice. I'm going X-Men 1 just because, and I think someone mentioned in the chat earlier, you have several first appearances versus that one. You have, Magneto, Professor X, Beast, Iceman, Cyclops. I'm sure I'm missing a few others, but versus Doctor Doom, who is I would say one of the pioneers in terms of grand scale villains, and I'm sure he's gonna do great things when he comes over to the MCU. But I'm more partial to X-Men than the Fantastic Four to begin with. So for that reason, I'm going X-Men all the way.
Yeah, I think if you and I see in the chat, a lot of, I think everybody, I think I've seen one person go Fantastic Four number 5. Again, it's just my personal preference. This one, if whoever came up to me and said, hey, which one would you get? I would get Fantastic Four just because I like the run. I've always been a fan of Fantastic Four. I get the argument, and I'm seeing a lot of people in the chat say 7 first appearances. Yeah, if we're going for an investment, X-Men 1 all day, 100%. But if it's for just pure put it in your PC, it is your Grail. Which one do you want? I'd probably take that Fantastic Four number 4, man, or 5. I'm just a big fan of Doom and things like that. But I get what everyone's saying about X-Men 1. I see it. I get the 7 first appearances and things like that. Just I'm a Fantastic Four guy, and I get it because I'm the first one to say it too. I know Vancouver Junkie, Comic Junkie said it, heroes over villains. I say that all the time. But when it comes to iconic villains, Joker, Thanos, Galactus, Doctor Doom, I think it's in a different category. Again, this is a book that if somebody came up to me and said which one, I'd take that one. It's going straight in the coffin.
Man, you're gonna need a big ass coffin, I'm telling you.
So,
not for nothing, I know what we were shitting on the original FF movies, I'm probably gonna lose some subscribers and followers for this comment. I didn't really hate the FF movies. I just find that they had their place as guilty pleasure movies, right?
So what ends up happening when people say things like that? No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Right
Man.
alongside like Batman.
Not sure what that guy was doing on the show.
You didn't think I was not gonna finish my point though.
No, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I know after this I'm going and unsubscribing.
But yeah, listen. You have certain movies that are so bad that they're so good. I kind of put that first FF movie in that same vein. So
yeah,
it has its place.
I might lose subscribers
Hey,
with what I'm about to say if we're talking movies. If you put the first X-Men movie and the first Fantastic Four movie, I think they're both terrible, to be honest with you. That's just my opinion. So it is what it is. Again, this one is, if I turn around or, when I come into my office, what book would I love to see on my shelf? Is Fantastic Four #5. Yeah.
And shame on you. The first X-Men movie was a bad movie. I thought. It's not as great as X-Men 2, but X-Men 1 I thought was fine.
Yeah, it was all right. It wasn't great. It was okay. Fantastic Four was fucking horrible.
X-Men 1 has Magneto top. Yeah, again, yep, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. All right, moving on to round 6. And again, guys, at the end of it, it's 10 rounds. But at the end of it, if you guys have anything, 2 books, you guys have questions on things like that, we'll get to it. Sure. We're almost at an hour, so it's kind of where I wanted to be by the time we get to the 6th book. So round 6, here we go. This one I think will be a no-brainer.
Really?
I think so. I really do. I think that everybody is going to go with Silver Surfer.
Don't be so sure about that.
Me personally, here's where I stand on this. And the reason I put both of these together is for this simple fact. Fantastic Four, #48, first appearance of Silver Surfer. It's getting out of reach for a lot of people. So what are a lot of people doing? They're going after Silver Surfer 1. That's what usually people do, right? I couldn't afford Tales of Suspense 39. What did I do? I got Iron Man 1. That's just something that people do. Fantastic Four #4, which is the biggest tongue twister of all time, I think. But Fantastic Four #4 is the first appearance of Namor, a.k.a. Submariner, in Silver Age continuity. That book is, if you guys go look for that book, a 0.5, I think, is like $2,500 Canadian. A lot of people, I think, are missing out on Submariner #1. You can find the 4.0s for about $300. My personal feeling on this is I'm going Submariner #1 all day. All day. And here's why. I think he's going to be around, just like Silver Surfer. So, I guess that's the same. I just think we're going to see him sooner rather than later. I don't know. And I just feel he's going to be, I don't know, because I'd want both, but my heart is set on Submariner 1. And I guess that's it. I don't know. That's it. Face, where are you on this?
So for me, I keep going with this Grail factor thing, but I think this actually has an additional consideration into it. Could you do me a favor and back up, I think, 1 or 2 slides to Fantastic Four 48? Yeah, there we go. So look at it. What's the price on that?
$13.50 for a 2.5.
All right, now go ahead back to that slide. One we were just on. You got $1,400 for a 6.0.
Correct.
And I wanted to take Fantastic Four 48. So the thing is, like, if I have to compare these 2 particular books, being as I'm looking at that Silver Surfer, probably paying the same amount for something that I feel is more iconic in the Fantastic Four 48 and getting his actual first appearance, I would probably skip it and lean more towards the Submariner.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm gonna take the Submariner personally. I love both books, but again, in Submariner, that this is 2 books that you see on a lot of lists for Grail books, so they both definitely fit the definition. But I think, it's just I think the comparison, whenever you can get the first appearance of Silver Surfer for something, relatively comparable, even with the condition difference, you got to go that route. So I'll take Submariner.
Pure. So basically, those were the last sales as of last Wednesday. So it's not that it's the point isn't to put like a 5.0 versus a 5.0. I literally could only get the information of like what was most recent, close grade to price and things like that. So that's where you're seeing the competition, right? So yeah, some of them are going to be a little off. Hyper, where are you on this book, man? I think you're the deciding, or sorry, we're 2-0 on Submariner, so we already have a win. But where are you on this?
Whatever I pick, I think the decision's already been made. So, listen, both books have a lot of upside because neither character has appeared in the MCU, and this is almost like, I guess you could call it the next best thing because these aren't their first appearances. Listen, I'm going Silver Surfer just because I kind of find there's a lot of reasons that kind of make both of them a wash, but I just personally I prefer land and cosmic over water-based characters. That's purely my pick. So for that reason, I'm going Silver Surfer, and also like I said, I'm more cosmic. What's that?
I said hyper. That's racist.
That's landism, man.
Landism, but listen,
right?
I'm more
land bleeders.
Shoot, man.
Listen, I mean, other than Aquaman and okay, look, I'm not even gonna open that can of worms because I'm sure the chat will give me other.
Someone in our chat is from like Atlantia, is a descendant from like Atlantis or something. So just be careful.
It's pronounced Atlanta.
Whatever, man. Whatever.
But yeah, man, listen, just for that reason, I just prefer Silver Surfer over Submariner, even though I know a lot of people are more high on Submariner, especially with that little Easter egg or whatnot that was dropped during Endgame.
Yeah.
I just feel that Silver Surfer will have a bigger impact between the two once they hit. Submariner may come before Silver Surfer, that's true, but I just feel that Silver Surfer actually will resonate more with people.
You never know, because if they kind of do it and capitalize on that whole Aquaman thing and do it a little bit better, which Marvel usually tends to do, I think they could have something. I think the thing that hurt Marvel with this character is that Aquaman came out first, and it, for whatever reason, it is a success.
It was actually good.
Yeah, and it was actually good. So I think that that's the issue that they're going to have. It's never been like, oh, Marvel did it better, or DC did it better, and now Marvel's turn, right? Like, it hasn't been like that, but this is the first. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how they play it. I really do think that this Submariner #1 book, though, has legs. I think it's got something special. You can't go wrong with either or. Again, this is just our personal opinions. Again, in the chat, it seems to be, 50-50, 55-45, somewhere in there. But my vote, Submariner, face Submariner, Hyper, Silver Surfer. Wow.
Don't sound so disappointed.
Damn, man. That's Reno's is saying, I live near water. I'm offended. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Niagara Falls.
And you have every right.
Bricks is saying, sorry, but I like someone from Earth. Well, technically, neither of them are from Earth, right?
No.
So,
what fucking planet is the ocean on, then?
Actually, no. Submariner would be Earth.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah, I was trying to think. I'm like, wait a minute. All right, guys. So
yeah, last time I went to school, man. I don't know.
Last time I went to school, shoot. So 2-1, Submariner 1 wins it. Round 7. Oh man, I kind of forget what I put, so it's gonna be huge. I do know, guys. I do know that round 10, the last book that we do, is gonna have everybody going a little nuts or a little like, So keep that in mind. And again, I hope I don't want to ruin it or hype it up, but I personally do. All right, guys, round 7. Here we go. This one, I think Hyper will have a great time talking about.
Yes.
But here's what's up. If you don't think horror is coming. Marvel's going to do something.
For a second, I thought you said if you don't think a horror is coming.
Oh no, horror. Tomb of Dracula.
Newbie's got them on order.
Blade is coming, right? I think it's just a matter of time before we see Dracula and Werewolf. I will say this: that Marvel Spotlight #2 Werewolf appearance, it is one of the most undervalued books, even at the price that it's at right now. I personally think it is really undervalued. The Tomb of Dracula, it's got Blade. We've already seen how many movies of Blade, like 3 or 4. I don't know, because I do think that if they hit on Werewolf and that horror stuff, I do think that that one could see a jump. However, if we're going on Grail purposes only, and one that I would rather see on my shelf, I'm probably going Tomb of Dracula 10. But I will say this: that Werewolf one, I think, could be something special down the road. So we could have this conversation, 5 years from now, and my answer might be a little bit different. But I do think that Werewolf book does have huge legs and something cool in store. My vote, though, Tomb of Dracula. Well, I guess Vancouver took my words right out of my mouth, but all day. Tomb of Dracula 10 all day.
I would like to defer to Hyper on this one.
He owns the goddamn book.
Yeah.
That's exactly why I want to defer to Hyper on this one. I want to hear his comments first. That way I can call his ass out afterwards.
How are you gonna call me out? Actually, okay.
Go ahead. Just go ahead with your spiel.
All right, listen. So
I already know what you're picking.
So full disclosure, between the two, I have Tomb of Dracula 10. So, and I picked that book. I bought that book over the summer for the sole reason that it will be a book that will be on a huge rise, just because of everything that has it going for it. Whatever. I'm twisting my words.
Sound it out.
Yeah. Listen, between the two,
are hard.
we know that Blade is coming to the MCU. It's been confirmed. They already have an actor, and everything's all lined up. Werewolf by Night, we're not really sure where that's going. I mean, it has potential. I mean, the character is cool. It has history, and we know that Marvel is going in that horror realm, with the next Doctor Strange movie and so on. So we could see more of these horror characters from Marvel history coming, but Blade is going to be the first, and I think between the two, Blade just will have a greater audience appeal because he's just more cooler than Werewolf by Night. And you have, an Academy Award winning actor, Mahershala Ali, playing Blade, and I think he will do a much better job than Wesley Snipes. And apart from like the later movies, I enjoyed the first Blade movie. So I just find that this is a character that and also he's gonna tie in well with the other characters that are coming, like Moon Knight. I'm sure we'll have some run-ins with Blade.
Yep.
And and if Marvel plays nice with Sony again and they have Morbius interact with Blade as well, you could see a lot of crossplay with this character. So for that reason, I'm going Tomb of Dracula all day.
Face, where are you, my friend?
Where am I? I'm very disappointed right now. Very disappointed. Hype not standing up and taking that spotlight too when he had the chance, because he has Tomb of Dracula. And he was the only one of us that had a chance to take it, because I'm not, obviously, like Werewolf by Night is cool and everything, but yeah, it's Blade. So you got to go with Tomb of Dracula all day long. Hyper has it. Could have went with Werewolf by Night just on the basis that he's got the other damn book, but no. But that's let's all down.
I think if you're looking at an investment for this book, right? I think it's easy to look at the fact that, Blade is coming and things like that. Could it rise? 100%. Anytime history has shown, anytime anything comes up, things will pop off, right? Here's the wild card: is the Werewolf has never been done. Like, absolutely never. And look at the price tags that it has. That's why I was saying, which would I rather have, Grail-wise, iconic-wise, cover-wise? Like, I really like that blue. I would go Tomb of Dracula. If I'm looking at it from an investment side, though, I think that you could find a really high grade, mid grade to high grade in that Marvel Spotlight 2 and come out at the end of the day with some bucks. I really do.
And the other thing is, someone else in the chat mentioned this, and I totally agree. Between the two covers, Human Dracula is a more iconic cover. I think they've actually done cover swipes of that cover, not as much as ASM 300, but it's been done. The Werewolf by Night
Definitely.
Spotlight cover, even though it's a great cover, it's still a historical cover. It doesn't have the same, appeal, I would say, as Tomb of Dracula 10, just based on cover.
Yeah, I agree. Tomb of Dracula 10's got the more iconic cover. It's the one that stands out. So it's one that you're going to tend to see probably make more Grail lists than. I mean, but like you said, Werewolf by Night is still a cool character. It's just when they're going to run with the horror universe in Marvel, or the horror segment of the Marvel universe, it's probably going to be Blade leading the charge mostly. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dan De La Torre is saying, in my honest opinion, is these 30s and 40s monsters, because they've been around forever, kind of don't fit in Marvel. He hasn't bought any for that reason. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they bring Dracula and Dracula, Blade, but like Werewolf and things like that. But I do think that there is a market, and if they can make money off of it, why wouldn't they capitalize on it, right? Like anybody would.
But wait, isn't there an issue? Isn't there an issue also where doing that just because doesn't Universal Studios have the rights to some of these horror characters like Dracula and the Werewolf?
I don't know who owns what.
Pretty sure Dracula's public.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Submariner saying Werewolf by Night, so the first appearance of Moon Knight versus Tomb of Dracula 10. I will write that down, and we can get to that at the end because we got 10 rounds, right? So I'll write that one down. So we got Knight versus Blade. That'll be actually a pretty good one. No good comments. What's up, man? How you doing? Thanks for joining us. Blade, because he's more of a badass. Yeah, I think a lot of people in the chat were saying Dracula, but a lot of them said they don't have Werewolf by Night or anything like that. Again, I'm looking at it from an investment side. I think that if you were to buy it and they're really cheap, I mean, 7.0, $600 all in, could be something later on down the road. That's all I'm saying.
And like I said, I mean, and to his point, vampires are a lot more cooler than werewolves, I find.
Yeah. It depends. I've watched Twilight.
You watched that shit?
Yeah. I have 5 sisters, so.
Yeah, don't blame it.
Blame it on that.
Yeah, blame it on the sisters.
Yeah, it is what it is.
They were probably sleeping when you watched it.
No, I'm starting to learn a little bit about Newbie. He brings up Titanic a lot. Got Twilight going on now. What's really going on in Newbie's life?
There's a lot of women in my family. So
Dirty Dancing.
Dirty Dancing. No, I don't think I've seen that one. Dirty Dancing.
Maybe that was Hyper Keys.
Yeah, no, I don't know Dirty Dancing. Yeah, blame it on Keys.
You mentioned it one time.
We'll blame it on Hyper though. All right, guys, round 8. Here we go. Oh wait, so Tomb of Dracula took that.
By a landslide.
Yep, 3-0. All right, round 8. This is more for the modern. So we got Ultimate Fallout 4. What is that? That is the first appearance of Miles Morales. And then we have Vengeance 1. I forgot to put in the CGC. That price tag is for a 9.6. I think 9.6 or 9.8. Let's say 9.8. So we got the first appearance of Miss America Chavez, who supposedly has a huge role in the upcoming Marvel stuff. We might see her in the Doctor Strange movie.
Oh, we are. It's confirmed.
Oh, yeah, it's confirmed? Okay. So I was going to say a few things have, been leaked and things like that. Both of whom I am told have big futures. The Miles one, I mean, let's face it, until there is a live action, I don't know where the ceiling is for this book. I have no problem with the Spider-Verse. I have no problem with that animated stuff. But until we see a live action Miles, I don't think we're going to get an accurate reading of what this book could reach. I've heard people left and right, DC, Marvel, Spider-Man fan or not, say this is the next AF-15. I do not think it is. I don't think 30, 40 years from now, you have a 9.8 in this, it's going to be a $200,000 book. I just don't. You got to look at print runs. You got to look at when the books were what they were. You have to look at the fact that a lot of people take good care of books and just collect just to collect. They don't read back like back in the day. And I think the scarce and the rarity also adds to value. So for those reasons, I don't think that this is going to come close. Will it have value and go up from that $2,500 price tag? Absolutely. But the people that are saying that in 30 years this is going to be a $500,000 book, I think that's a stretch. I really do. Me personally, Miles Morales book in a 9.6 is about $600 to $800 Canadian. 9.8, you're looking at it $2,500. So if you want to get in on that 9.6 game, probably could do some damage. That Vengeance one, it's an ugly ass cover. I mean, in the sense that I love Magneto, not taking anything away from Magneto, but it doesn't say anything America Chavez, right? Like you would, at least if I look at Ultimate Fallout 4, I see Miles there. I don't know. For me personally, I'm going Miles Morales. On this one, I'm going Ultimate Fallout 4 just because the potential. You got African American, Puerto Rican Spider-Man. I think that is where we're going. I do like that Vengeance cover because of Magneto, but it has actually nothing to do with Magneto. It is America Chavez. My vote for this is Ultimate Fallout 4.
Yeah, I mean, Vengeance, it's not the best cover in the world, especially for the first appearance of a character. You know, she's not there at all. So, and well, the other thing about Vengeance is it is pretty hard to find. But Ultimate Fallout 4 is Miles Morales, and that shit is a big deal. And people have already, we've seen it, gone completely nuts over Miles Morales. I think the only thing really, like, I honestly, I think the price tag on Vengeance is a little bit misleading because I think one of the bigger reasons that it is as high as it is because of the scarcity of it. I mean, like, if there were more copies, I don't know that it would be that high. Yeah. Even with as cool of a character as America Chavez is. All that shit being said, you know, I obviously Miles is way cooler character. It seems in popularity and everything like that. But all that being said, I'm taking Vengeance 1 because I've got Ultimate Fallout 4.
Ooh, wow!
Wow! I honestly, Face, I did not see that coming.
I know. I told you this was like this was the one. This is that really shitty matchup. It's like Ultimate Fallout 4 should definitely win this. Obviously,
I think
Ultimate Fallout 4, but like I have Ultimate Fallout 4, so I got to go with Vengeance.
With that said, if they, and I don't want to say butcher, I don't want to say that because it's disrespectful to the creators and the artists and the movie people, things like that. If it doesn't stick, if the character does not stick and it is not portrayed well on the movie screen, would you still say the same thing? Or just because of where it is right now, with the fact that we've never seen the character, we know nothing about how they're going to do it, you know, at what junction or what villain or what, like, we literally know nothing about the character except the fact that she's confirmed it'll be Doctor Strange 2. But Kang is confirmed and coming in the next Ant-Man. It doesn't mean that Kang's going to be in the whole movie, and we've talked about that multiple times. So,
but I'm not basing it off of the success or, you know, failure of her being in the movies or anything like that. I'm just basing it off the fact that I've got one book and don't have the other. So, yeah, I mean, for me, I got to take Vengeance because it's one that's not in my collection, whereas Ultimate Fallout 4 is in my collection. But yeah, ultimately, if I didn't have either one, you know, of course, I would probably take Ultimate Fallout 4.
Do you think that the other printings, like the second printing and the third printing, hurt Ultimate Fallout 4 in the long run? because again, where we are as comic book collectors and how many people are out there, you know, not necessarily maybe reading it, but just picking it up to collect it, holding on to the 9.6s, 9.8s. Do you think that the fact that it's got second and third printings, do you think that that hurts it long term?
I mean, no, not really, because if you look at it and you put the two books side by side, if you had 9.8 in both, you know, which one has, you know, the higher value? You have 9.8 in both. Ultimate Fallout 4 has the higher value, so even the print count on that hasn't seemed to hurt it in comparison to Vengeance.
Okay. Yeah, Jeff is saying second print has the most upside. That's the white one, right? Now, Jeff, why is that?
There's two second prints. There's one where he's kind of at the like the letters are behind him, and you see
the face is showing, and then there's the white one.
There's a white one, so there's two second prints that's actually out there. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Hyper, where are you on this?
Okay. Well, I mean, as you can see, I already have a copy of UF4.
That.
But
that was like a 4.5.
Yeah. No. Maybe
it
might be a 9.8.
Big ass crease on the back page.
I don't think it's a 9.8 though. But listen, I don't have Vengeance 1, but unlike Face, I'd rather cop a second copy of Ultimate Fallout 4 than Vengeance 1. I just find that between the two, Miles is already a proven commodity. We've seen him already in the movies and in the video games. People want more Miles. You know, he's definitely, you know, the audience are receptive to him. Like, it's funny because when he was introduced initially, he was met with a lot of backlash and resistance because they weren't really sure like what to make of him when he got introduced, and they weren't sure if he was going to pan out. You know, fast forward now, he's pretty much mainstream, and you know, you talk about passing the torch with a lot of these characters. I just find that Miles is here to stay, and you're going to see a lot more of Miles in the future. I mean, you'll see America Chavez as well, but I just find that between the two, Miles will have a bigger impact in like both the publication and the media side for Marvel. So I'm picking Ultimate Fallout 4.
So what are you going to do with that second copy of Ultimate Fallout 4?
That would be probably that would be almost like an investment piece, I would say. Because I definitely would like this one. Because it's my only copy, I wouldn't. I'll never part with it. It'll be one.
But if you came across a second copy, you're gonna resell it down the road. Now, if you came across a copy of Vengeance, are you gonna add it to your collection and keep it?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
See, for me, it's a bit tough because when I have only one copy of a book, and it's a known key, it's hard for me to sell. I know some people they have no issue selling even their one copy of certain books. Unless I have no interest in the character whatsoever, if it's my only copy, I'll probably keep it.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, if I had a second copy of UF4, the second one most likely would be an investment piece that I would probably use to refund the hobby with.
Yeah, and monetarily, the smart answer is you take the UF4, you resell it, buy a Vengeance 1 if you can find it, and then pocket a little bit of extra change on the side.
But let's just say okay, let's clear the slate. Let's say I never had a UF4 and I never had a Vengeance 1. My obvious answer is going to be UF4. Like,
exactly.
If it was a level playing field.
Right.
But you're right. Obviously, if we're talking about me not having one book versus the other, obviously I'd want to kind of fill my collection. But put it this way, I just find that UF4 down the line just has a bigger upside than Vengeance 1. Like you said, Vengeance 1, one of the biggest thing it has going for it is it's a smaller print run because it's not an ongoing. It's a 6-issue miniseries that, you know, kind of flew under the it did kind of fly under the radar a bit compared to like most of the mainline stuff that was being printed at the time. So yeah, the scarcity of it, I guess, is what Vengeance has over Ultimate Fallout 4.
I think the beer got the newbie.
What
Listen
happened?
for the flush.
No, sorry, my girlfriend needed me. Yeah.
Like for you.
So it's 2-1 Ultimate Fallout 4. I was actually just reading some of the comments. Yeah, I didn't know that the fact that the other prints would help this one. There is I'm trying to look for it. Swaggle House, what's going on, man? He was just on Spine Ticks last Saturday. I learned a lot from him. I was kind of interested in to get to know him because I've seen him around, but I just couldn't put a face or didn't know much about him. So it was cool to get to know him. But
he has a pretty sick collection.
Right.
Yeah, he does. He's got Iron Man 1. Anybody who has Iron Man 1 in their collection, especially on the top shelf, you're good in my books. This is what I wanted to bring up, and Bricks said it. This is kind of what we're growing up with, and I think that also adds value to that Ultimate Fallout 4 is the fact that a lot of younger people and a lot of people who are just coming into the comic world know Spider-Man as Miles. They don't know him as Peter. So we also have to keep into consideration. The only argument I make is this. The people that are saying, hey, Ultimate Fallout 4 will be a $100,000 book because they're seeing what Amazing Fantasy 15 is going for 70, 80 years later, I just don't think that you're going to get the same return. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. Hopefully I'm wrong because I know a lot of people have that book, but I also know that book is crazy printed, second and third prints. So that's all.
And Jeff's comment about print size doesn't matter if it's a hot book. It's true. I mean, print size isn't the be all end all, but we can't deny that it is a factor.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely is. Like, put it this way: if Vengeance 1 had the same print run as Ultimate Fallout 4, those prices would not be nearly the same.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
I've only come across one Vengeance 1. And in the wild, and it was $150 Canadian.
Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is, the set itself looks actually pretty good. I mean, because they have different villains for each of the 6 covers. Like, they're all Dell'Otto covers. So I know everyone focuses on Vengeance 1 because it's the first appearance, but the actual set, because I am a fan of Gabriel Dell'Otto, the actual set itself is pretty nice.
Yeah, the covers are actually great on the whole series.
Yep.
It's just not a good cover for the first appearance of America Chavez. She's not that or anything like that, and it doesn't even seem to relate to her. But other than that, it's still Dell'Otto, so you can't go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. So it is 2-1 Ultimate Fallout number 4. Whew. Okay.
And this time I'm allowed to be wrong.
Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. Round 9. Here we go. We got 2 villains going head to head. We've got 2 villains. The price tags are kind of going down, but we have ASM 20, first appearance of Scorpion with a CGC sale of $1,200, going up against ASM 13, which is the first appearance of Mysterio, with a price tag and a CGC of 6.0 as well for $2,400. Obviously, Mysterio we've already seen. It's got the higher value. Technically, we've already seen Scorpion in that end credit. I want to apologize because that might be a spoiler or a leak to some people who have not seen the movie. But again, the movie came out like 2-3 years ago. So, the statute of limitations has passed. The Mysterio one still holds a bigger value. It's earlier, 7 issues, of course, if we do simple math. This one, I will say, I really like the Scorpion one better. I don't know. I'm not a fan of that panel stuff, especially the stuff that's going on the bottom. If I had to choose one or the other, I'd probably say Mysterio for my Grail, but I would probably say ASM 20 for an investment, just because the character, we haven't seen him in the suit. We don't know how they're going to do him, if they're ever going to do him. Where Mysterio we've already seen. An investment, the investment newbie is saying go ASM 20. The Grail, which would I rather take if somebody offered me both? I'd probably say 13, first appearance for Rey Mysterio. I also am a big believer that Rey Mysterio.
Rey Mysterio?
619.
Rey Mysterio was in comic.
Sorry, of Mysterio.
Spider-Man.
I don't think that no, you know what it is? It's because I saw Paul's comment, and Paul is Paul in the 619, so I thought, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, you just I feel like you just kind of blast flame.
I swear to God.
That is true. The 619 and the Mysterio on Paul's name kind of, yeah, I could see
Yeah,
that throwing.
no, that's exactly why. So, Paul, it's your fault.
Sure.
But no, you guys have heard me say it, especially Face and Hyper. You guys have really heard me say it. Is I don't think that Mysterio is dead. I also think that some form of the Sinister Six is coming. Which Sinister Six, if they do it original or new cast or new villains or whatever the case may be, I don't know. But I think Mysterio will be one of those. My vote would be ASM 13. Again, we've already seen the character. I don't think he's done. We've technically already seen Scorpion, but not in costume or anything like that. That one could go up. But I'm going with early Spider-Man. I'm going with, even though I hate the cover, I'm probably still going to go with ASM 13.
Yeah, I'm just going with the ASM 13 because it boils down to some fact that Mysterio is at least like, in my mind, Mysterio is a villain. Scorpion is a henchman. I mean, yeah, he's a more glorified henchman, but ultimately he's pretty much always just a henchman. Even in his first appearances, he was doing fucking J. Jonah Jameson's dirty work. So
seems to be like it's kind of even in the chat. I own Kate P Keel is saying I own both. I will go for Scorpion only because I like him better.
Yeah, and I actually agree with P Keel. I like the character in general better of Scorpion, but again, Mysterio just strikes me more as like the villain type, whereas
Scorpion is just like a dork. Like I don't want to say dorky. It's just like a corny suit. Like if I was in a dark alley and I saw somebody robbing a bank or something, and I saw Mysterio and then I saw Scorpion, I'd be like, I'd probably start laughing at the Scorpion guy. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, they
with a long ass tail. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
As opposed to the fucking fishbowl on his head.
Well, yeah.
I mean, honestly, if Spider-Man showed up in front of me, I'd probably fucking laugh at his silly ass costume. But
Mysterio, ASM 20, 13 is a keeper. I just think, again, I think you could say that that both have upwards. Just because, yeah, we haven't seen Scorpion again in this costume or fighting Spider-Man, but I also don't think we've seen the last of Mysterio, and that's one of the perfect. People always in this community will say, "Hey, man, always buy when a key is down." Okay, look what was going on with Cable a year ago. You could get Cable 9.8 for like $200. Mm-hmm. You're looking at almost $1,000 now. Something is happening with Cable. People are realizing, oh, Deadpool's coming, so Cable's got to come. Same thing with this. This is a perfect opportunity to get your Mysterio on right now because the key is down. Like everyone has a different thought process on what affordable is. And I'm not saying, my affordability is the same as the next person. We all have different finances and jobs and things like that. But I also think that you can't go wrong with buying ASM 13 right now because I do see a little bump, in the future. That's all. Sorry, they would mess you up in an hour. Oh, dude, yeah, fuck.
Yeah, right.
I just couldn't, like the next day going to work with a black eye, I can't say, hey, the guy in the tight green suit dressed as a scorpion beat me up. I'd rather say, hey, man, this guy with magic.
Yeah, this guy wearing a fishbowl on his head kicked my ass.
But at least Mysterio could like fly and shit. You know what I mean? That's kind of where the argument is. But my vote is for Mysterio. Hyper, where are you at on this?
Listen.
Dan. Okay, I've decided. I'm buying them both. That's how I typically solve my comic problems.
That's the same solution I use.
Here's the thing.
Seems like that guys she's in the first place.
Right? Exactly.
Listen, when it comes to Spider-Man villains, I would say these two are almost like at the bottom of my tier in terms of. So it's almost like for me, it's like picking the lesser of the two evils, and I don't mean to say that in an insulting way. It's just that they're not. I wouldn't put them in high ranking in Spider-Man villains, but yeah, Mysterio would be the guy I would go to just because. Not to echo what you're saying too much, but he just has a more of a cooler factor than Scorpion, and yeah, Scorpion just seems like a very street level. I mean, they are technically both street level, but I just find that Mysterio has a lot more going for him in terms of being a foil to Spider-Man versus Scorpion. And I mean, and according to Newbie, he was also the WWE champion at one point. He was a Royal Rumble winner.
Oh man,
That's
Yeah,
true.
he kind of broke through for the cruiserweights and the Latin American wrestlers in pro wrestling. So Mysterio all the way.
here's another thing too. If one of these guys is robbing a bank or starting a crime, guess what? One of them can fly away or like get away with magic. The other one has got to start a car or has to be really good in cardio and run. Okay, so just keep that in mind as well.
And that cape's not helping either.
Yeah, that's true. Face, where are you on this argument, man?
I'm just trying to run that scenario through my head. It's causing me pain.
I could just see the guy dressed
yeah, I'm going with ASM 13.
Mom, start the car.
Now I'm just picturing is Mysterio setting up for the 619
Right?
with that
Exactly.
pole and the cape and everything. Just to,
So wait, are we all 3-0 on Mysterio? Is that what's going on?
I think that's what just happened.
Wow. All right. Wow. Well, guys, we've come to the final one, but that doesn't mean our show is ending right after that. A few people have messaged with and said in the chats they have scenarios and books that they want us to talk about.
Wait. Azores did bring up a good point. We can't forget this point.
But he's virus now.
Scorpion.
True. That's true.
That is true. We know
Multiple first appearances with one character.
Man,
Yeah.
realistically,
We know the longevity virus has got.
Realistically, if you go back and watch that last Spider-Man movie, that is technically the first appearance of virus in movie. Did you guys ever think about that?
What the fuck?
That's a stretch, but yeah, I can see your logic.
Whoa. Mind blown.
That's
Wow. You guys heard it here first. The first appearance of virus in a movie, Spider-Man Homecoming. Whoa, that book is probably $100. That book is probably $100 right now on eBay. This is crazy. Wow. Oh my god.
I wish I have like so many copies of those. Damn.
Yeah, how many does Newbie have?
All right, guys. So we've come down to the last round, but again, it doesn't mean that our show is over. We do have 2 suggestions that were given in the chat. If you guys have 2 books you guys want us to put up, we will put up. We obviously won't have the PowerPoint, but we can definitely talk about them. So before we get into the comments that were made about some books, we're going to get into our round 10 final Grail versus Grail. And I think this one's going to be a good one. Man, I'm interested to see what people are going to say. Hyper, I think I know where you're going. I think I know your answer. Face, I'm interested to hear your answer. But here we go. Round 10.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Round 10. We got Giant Size X-Men #1. Price tag at a CGC 6.5. We're looking at $4,600 Canadian. Going up against Hulk 181, probably the hottest book right now. And I say that in lowercase just because it basically seems like every 3 days there is a new book. But in the last week or so, Hulk 181 is the book. But we got, with the price tag at CGC 6.0, $5,600. This is as close as I could get to sales and things like that. I mean, guys, we know what this is. Giant Size X-Men, this book is going to continue to go up just because of the X-Men factor. Anytime a mutant is added or things like that, it's going to be crazy. We've got that. Aside from Hulk 181, we have that art and that style of Wolverine. Like in both of these books, Wolverine does not look like the Wolverine most people know him as. But if you don't know, Giant Size X-Men is the second full appearance of Wolverine, correct? Is that correct?
Wait, Giant Size. Could you repeat your question? Sorry.
Yeah.
No, I lost you for a second.
Oh, I said is Giant Size X-Men? Isn't that the second appearance of Wolverine, or is that?
Well, it's considered his second full appearance because he made like after 181 he made a cameo appearance in Hulk 182. So this would be considered, I guess, his second full appearance.
Yeah. I will say this. Both of these books will see a crazy spike in the next couple of years. If you guys go look at the price tags and the ones that I just gave you guys, I mean, like, I think they're both going to go up at the same time. One is for, different mutants. The other one is for Wolverine, but I think they're going to go hand in hand, right? The closer we get to more X-Men coming, the more people are going to be like, oh shit, Wolverine is coming. The same thing could go the other way. If we get Wolverine, then people are going to be like, oh shit, we're going to get the X-Men. I really think a lot of people have these two books kind of at the top of their list when we talk Grail books. Investment, I think both go up. I don't think you lose value in either. I think they're blue chip books. If I had to pick, I am going Hulk 181 just for the simple fact that when we talk about what the next Amazing Fantasy 15 could be, I think we're talking Wolverine. I think Wolverine, outside of Spider-Man, is the next iconic character. And for that, I am going Hulk 181. Investment side, keeping on my shelf, the better cover, everything. My favorite color being red, everything. Everything points to Hulk 181 over Giant Size X-Men. My vote is Hulk 181.
I mean, it should be tough because both books are great to have, and I'd be glad to have either one of them in my collection, obviously. But for me, it's actually really simple. As much as I like Wolverine and would like to have his first appearance in there, with Giant Size X-Men, I still get one of his earliest appearances, and I get the additional first appearance of Storm, Colossus, and Nightcrawler. I mean, there's some other ones in there too, but they're not as relevant as those three. So, yeah, I think, and it's the new and more recognized team of X-Men. So, I think ultimately it's probably you're going to see that iteration more so than like the original like classic X-Men show up whenever Marvel starts to use them in the movies and everything like that. So yeah, I'm just gonna take that giant size X-Men all day.
I just want to answer something before Hyper goes. Style Collector saying, where did you get those prices? These prices are as of the giant size X-Men is as of last Wednesday in Canadian prices. Again, these are Canadian prices. That Hulk 181, I was able to edit because I was watching this book a little close to the heart, and one just sold yesterday for $5,600 in that grade. Canadian, not American. Okay, so we got 1 and 1. Hyper, where are you going with your vote?
So I get to be the tiebreaker.
Oh wait, before you go.
All right.
Sure. This one, man. Okay, I got to be honest. That X-Men 94, I think is an ugly cover. I don't know what it is about it. Every time I see that cover, I see Kraven the Hunter. Like
What?
it's really, yeah, the guy's face or whatever. Like every time I see that book, I'm like, oh, that's Kraven the Hunter. Like it's really weird. I think it's not the greatest cover. I don't know. I think people, the way they say, okay, Hulk 180 or Hulk 181, I think people go, oh, Giant Size X-Men or X-Men 94. I don't think it's a debate, man. I think if you want the X-Men book, you want to have a Giant Size X-Men 1. That's just my personal opinion. It's nothing against anybody who owns X-Men 94, but that's just mine.
I don't know. I mean, I thought that 94 was a cool cover, but between the two, I find Giant Size X-Men has a lot going for it just because of those multiple first appearances, and it's pretty much the X-Men lineup as we know it, in the modern times.
Yeah.
Obviously with a little bit of tweaks here and there.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So, you talk about books that kind of define an era. AF-15 was that book that, I think a lot of people would agree defined the Silver Age. It's the book. I think, 10, 15 years from now, I think between the two, Hulk 181 will be the book of the Bronze Age. I think it'll be
Sorry.
Hulk 181. I think will be. I think it's going to be crowned as the book to get in the Bronze Age era.
Yep, I agree with that.
The thing is, you know, like the previous argument I made for, I forgot which book now, that X-Men one where, you know, I generally go for multiple first appearances, you know, in one book versus another book that only has one first appearance. But in this case, I just find that
we should.
Sorry?
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Star Wars Fiend. We'll get to this. You're the third other one we'll be talking about after this round is done, man. So yeah.
In this case, these multiple appearances on Giant Size X-Men 1, although they're important, I just find that this is also a bit of personal feeling on my part. I just find Wolverine overshadows all of them, just as a character, just as what he represents for the X-Men team, and just for the history of Marvel. And the thing is, just when we think that Hulk 181 kind of peaked, and it's just going to have some slow growth, you find that book hits a new point within a few weeks, few months, and then it seems to always hit a new plateau. And I don't see that happening, slowing down, just for the very reason that I do feel that at some point, maybe not like in the next year or two, but we will see Wolverine in the MCU. I think he will come. Yeah. I don't think he'll be one of the first mutants to come, but he is going to be coming.
Yeah. I think 181 does more for X-Men 1 than vice versa. You know what I mean? Like if we get Wolverine, then I think people will be like, oh shoot, okay, we're going to get mutants, and that book will go up, where it's going to be different if it's the other way around, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
For me, all day, it's got to be Hulk 181. It's just way more iconic. But yeah, so where are we on votes here? My vote is 181. Face, you said?
Yeah, I want that Giant Size X-Men personally.
X-Men and Hyper, you are where?
Hulk 181, and also just between both covers, I would say I have no gripes with either cover. I think both covers are iconic. Both covers have been swiped. I just like the 181 cover a lot more. It's a lot more dynamic, and it's just a much more of an appealing cover. So
there it is, 2-1 Hulk 181. This is tight. So here's what I want to ask before we move on, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 suggestions from the chat, and I really want to get into them. Again, we won't have visuals for them, but we can talk about them 100%. Here's my hypothetical question to the chat and to you guys. You get $5,000. You can see that the CGC is kind of the same. If you were to buy one of these books at $5,000 right now, let's say they get you a 7.0. So a 7.0 for $5,000 Canadian. Either book, I give you $5,000. I tell you, hey, go buy one of these. Mm-hmm. Which one out of these two do you see has a bigger return or can hold their value more than the other?
Shoot. Immediate return, I'm actually going to say Giant Size X-Men 1. Long term, I'm actually going with 181. Like, if you want, I just find that just because there's a lot more fervor with mutants lately, with the whole WandaVision talk, and with Kevin Feige's little Easter eggs here and there during his conversation, I just feel that that's the book that might spike more than Hulk 181, because no one's really talking about Wolverine at this point in terms of him coming to the MCU in the imminent future. So for immediate gains, I would say Giant Size, but long term, I'm going Hulk 181.
I mean, for me, I think it comes down to the same factors for both of them. And I want to stick with Giant Size X-Men on this one for actually 2 other reasons. One is the Giant Size X-Men #1 probably, I'm not sure exactly what the numbers are, but I'm going to imagine it has a smaller print count than the Hulk 181. And those old Giant Size issues are really fucking hard to find in good condition.
Yeah.
Whereas the standard issues tend to be a little easier to find. So you're probably going to see a lot more of the Hulk 181 in higher grades on the census over the long term than you are those Giant Size X-Men.
So you got $5,000. You're going Giant Size X-Men for a bigger return. Okay. Hey. Me personally, I don't think you can go wrong with either or.
Yeah, you're not gonna go wrong with
I
either
think
one of them.
if you took $5,000 and bought one of these two, I think in 5 years' time you'll be like, hey, newbie, I kind of made an extra few bucks, and you'll be able to, get another book and things like that. So I'm glad we did this one. I think this one was a good way to go out.
And this is actually, I mean, these two are on my top 5 anyways. On my I guess you could call them my wish list. So
Right.
Yeah, this is huge. 2-1, we have Hulk 181 beating Giant Size X-Men #1. I will say, yeah, Face is right. It's harder to find the Giant Size X-Men than it is the Hulk 181. All right, in order, guys. In order. I just want to go back and for some people that may not have been here, I just want to go through it really quick. Who were the winners? Because it seems like this was a really good success. The chat got really into it. I love all the comments and things like that. So I think this is something that we're going to incorporate monthly that we're going to do. So I'm going to take all the winners from today and put them against other books, or we're going to get a new 20. The winners of those will go up against these ones. So just to recap, we got first appearance of Punisher, ASM 129, sweep 3-0. We've got New Mutants winning 2-1 over ASM 300. We've got Silver Surfer at number 48 beating out Black Panther. We've got Batman 181, Miss Poison Ivy taking out Harley Quinn. We've got X-Men 1 taking out Doctor Doom.
What was the vote on that one?
That one was 2-1.
Okay, all right.
And then we've got Submariner taking out Silver Surfer 3-0. Tomb of Dracula 3-0. 2 sweeps in a row.
Whoa, I think you got the Submariner one wrong because I voted Silver Surfer.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay. Then we got a 2-1. 2-1.
Yeah.
Tomb of Dracula took it 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimate Fallout took it 2-1. ASM 13, Mr. Rey Mysterio, just kidding, Mysterio took it 2-1, or 3-0, sorry, 3-0. And Hulk 181 took it 2-1. So guys, in order, I have some books that you guys were saying in the chat. I wrote them down. So in order, here's what we'll do. We will talk about them briefly. We're almost going on 2 hours, so we don't want to be here 3-4 hours. So we'll briefly talk about them. First up, we've got Werewolf by Night 32, which is the first appearance of Moon Knight, versus Tomb of Dracula 10. Me personally, I'm going Werewolf, first appearance of Moon Knight. I think there's going to be more invested on Moon Knight's end than there will be on Blade. So for that reason, I'm going Moon Knight on that book.
Okay, since we're doing this blitz, I'm just gonna say Tomb of Dracula 10. I just find Blade is more of a cooler character in my opinion than Moon Knight. So Tomb of Dracula.
Face, where are you on that?
Personally, I mean, yeah, I like Moon Knight better as a character, but I actually got to take Tomb of Dracula 10 also because I think Blade has the bigger potential for the long term, especially when you look at the fact that Blade already had a movie franchise.
Yep.
Another movie, and Moon Knight we're just basically getting a series. He may show up in movies or whatever, but he's not getting his own movie yet. So yeah, it seems like they're devoting more to Blade than Moon Knight.
Okay. So it's 2-1 Blade. Tomb of Dracula beats Moon Knight. Again, if you're joining us just now, we did have a presentation. I'm just trying to go through some of the books that the chat had. So that's why you don't see a PowerPoint. We did do PowerPoint and have stats and all that. So next book on the list, and real quickly, guys, we're not going super in-depth, but we got asked. Marvel Spotlight 5, first appearance of Ghost Rider versus Avengers 196. First appearance of Taskmaster. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not even going to say anything with this. This is Ghost Rider all day. I don't care about Nicolas Cage. I know he messed that up, but it's Ghost Rider over Taskmaster all day.
Yeah, I mean, I actually have Avengers 196. I don't have Spotlight 5. Even if I didn't have either of them, it's Ghost Rider all day. It's a slam dunk. Not Moon Knight. Taskmaster is. I find he's like a very niche character, whereas Ghost Rider, has a broader appeal, and he's just a lot more cooler.
Yeah, and again, we're not. It's not offensive. Like, I forget who asked. It's a great question. I just think this one's a real easy one, and I think a lot of people would, for the value and what's going to happen in the future, I think you have to go Ghost Rider. Realistically, I think you can find Avengers 196 in dollar bins still. They've been out there. I've seen them.
Dollar bins? Wow.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I found mine like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago at the flea market. I think I paid $5.
You sure it wasn't the reprint?
No. It was legit. It was literally the first print.
Because they have a Toy Biz reprint that's exactly the same, and then the barcode just says not for resale.
I had the original.
Yeah, that's the deal. I think I paid like $100 for my rock.
And even back in like 2014, when I was going to flea markets like a lot on the Sundays, like you would find them like you could find that Taskmaster book all the time. You can't find that Ghost Rider book all the time. So
I'll be honest. I mean, I only really, because I wasn't really reading comics at the time, I only really knew about Taskmaster when I was playing Marvel vs. Capcom 3. So.
Face, where are you on this, man?
Yeah, Ghost Rider for sure.
Ghost Rider. So sweep. Ghost Rider over Taskmaster. The next book we have is, this is a little funny, but we got Daredevil 1 versus Iron Man 1.
I feel that's unfair, though. But that's unfair.
Yeah, one is a real character. The other one isn't.
No, because one is a first appearance and one is just
is an origin retold.
Yeah, but
doing it anyway. Go.
Okay, so I don't want to mess anything up. I don't want Sith or anyone out there to get this clip and then play it backwards and just be like, "Oh, Newbie's not an Iron Man fan." If somebody came up to me on the side of the street and said, "Hey, I got Iron Man 1 or Daredevil 1," I'd probably take the Daredevil, and here's why. I own Iron Man right there. Mine's right there. So why would I have two? Build a collection, get a different book. I would get Daredevil, but it doesn't take anything away from Iron Man. I love Iron Man. I have mine right there. It's nothing against Iron Man. It's just the fact that I don't have that book. So for me,
all I'm hearing right now is Newbie hates Iron Man.
No.
But I don't know. A better competition would have been Tales of Suspense versus Daredevil 1. I thought that would have been a better.
Because of the price points. I think it would be way off.
Okay.
Way off. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
just for that reason. Just not because I don't like Iron Man or I don't want it. It's just for the fact that like I already have Iron Man 1. I don't have that Daredevil, so why not build my collection? That's all.
Right. I mean, look, just for the mere fact that Daredevil 1 is the first appearance of Karen Page and Foggy Nelson. Matt Murdock also comes in. For that reason, I'm picking Daredevil 1 over, Iron Man 1.
Face, where are you, man?
Yeah, I think I'm going to take Daredevil 1.
So 3-0 sweep. Wow.
I mean, honestly, Iron Man probably would do better if he was paired up against Darkhawk 1. No, I'm kidding.
I'm taking Dark.
All right. So, I'm gonna have some foolishness on this fan. I'll tell you that much. All right. Next one up, we got asked. Iron Man 55, and for those of you that don't know, that is the first appearance of Drax and Thanos versus Silver Surfer 3, the first appearance of Mephisto. Long term, I'm thinking Iron Man 55. Personally, I'm thinking Iron Man 55. Better cover. I think Iron Man 55, in my opinion, it's white. I don't know. It's just a biased opinion. Also, the fact I'm Iron Man, I'm going with Iron Man 55 on this one.
Face?
Yeah,
or is it me?
Well, you were going second there for a while, so I thought we flipped around, but it doesn't matter. But yeah, I'm gonna take Iron Man 55. I'm a huge fan of Thanos.
Yeah.
So, it's just my personal opinion. I'm partial to Thanos.
Listen, I actually have to disagree. In terms of covers, I find that Silver Surfer 3 has a better cover than Iron Man 55. I just like that Mephisto right there, front and center. But yeah, I'm going with Thanos over Mephisto. Even though Mephisto hasn't appeared, and by all accounts, we feel he will appear in the MCU, I just feel Thanos is just a bigger deal than Mephisto, even though Mephisto deals with the underworld.
Yeah, and Thanos is coming back, or at least that's what we know. Mephisto is hot right now. That I don't know. You got to also think like the longevity. I don't think that they could do a villain like they did Thanos and give it the same legs on Mephisto. That's all. But yeah, so it is 2-1 Iron Man 55. That is a good win. All right, next up we've got this one. This one might be interesting, but we got asked, and I'm doing my best to write down all the ones, guys. So yeah, we're not trying to go like 3 hours here, so we're just kind of going a little fast on this. But these are you might see some of these in next month's Grail vs. Grail. But we got Journey into the Mystery 83, which is the first appearance of Loki, versus Tales of Suspense 39. Guys, I'm going to make this sweet and short. Tales of Suspense 39, iconic character, iconic book, super amazing cover. I'm going Iron Man, Tales of Suspense 39. All day.
Surprise.
Yeah.
Hyper, you want to go ahead and handle that?
Handle that.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to get snapped out for this decision, but I'm picking Loki over Iron Man. Okay, I'm still here.
Yeah, so
listen, between the two, I'm just a bit more biased towards Loki. And the thing is, I know Iron Man is.
Sorry, it's not first Loki. It's not first Loki.
It's not.
No.
Thor. It's first Thor. I apologize.
That's why I was saying to handle it. I was hoping you were going to hit him on that. I was waiting for it.
My bad. No, I was just focused on his description of the issue. I didn't actually focus on the actual issue number.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I apologize for that. Thanks, Pierre.
Oh, dude, my decision is a lot more easier. Yeah, Thor over Iron Man.
Okay.
I think Thor resonates with a lot more people, and if it wasn't for the Robert Downey Jr. movies, I just feel that Iron Man would still be that D-level character.
X. What?
It's listen. I'm just saying it as it is.
I mean, you're not going to need an app to know or get an alert that this is probably Hyper's last show on this channel.
Listen, you gotta face facts, man. Before this, Iron Man, even though he was considered like one of the original Avengers, he didn't have the same popularity as Thor until the MCU came in. I just feel that, especially with today's audience, people just gravitate more towards Thor than Iron Man. Even though Iron Man may have played a bigger part in the MCU, in that first phase.
Face, what was your vote on this?
Yeah, I'm going with Journey Mystery 83 also for the first Thor. I would love to have both of them, but I think Thor edges out Iron Man.
All right, so in the chat, I'm gonna have an open casting. I'm gonna hold tryouts. I need 2 spots filled for.
Oh, you need 3 because Keith's picking fucking Thor too.
Okay, you know what? A D level may have been a bit harsh. Yeah, okay, I stand corrected. B level. We'll say B level. B level. I think I may have put D level just to kind of stick it to you a bit, but it was B level.
Yeah, let's be real here. So, guys, if you guys are joining us, because I do see some new people in, we did have a presentation. We had 10 rounds. We put 10 books up against 10 other books. We got the winners. So those winners move on to the next round. Next month, we'll do another Grail versus Grail. Now I'm just going through some of the ones that the chat asked. So, real quickly in the chat, we had Ghost Rider, Marvel Spotlight 5 versus Avengers 196, 3-0 Ghost Rider. We had Werewolf by Night 32 versus Tomb of Dracula 10. We had Blade all day on that. We just did Journey into Mystery 83 over Tales of Suspense because you guys went. We did Iron Man 55 versus Silver Surfer 3. And we had Daredevil 1 versus Iron Man 1. Clear sweep. All right. The last one I see. Oh, Hulk 1 versus Fantastic Four #1. Fantastic Four #1 all day. Cover, first appearance. You talk about ASM 300 being a homage cover. Fantastic Four 1. There's a lot like that. I'm going Fantastic Four #1 all day. I personally don't like Hulk either, so that could have some bias in my opinion too. So
Hulk 1 gets a lot of homages too, but
yeah, not as much though.
Yeah, I think
that's a tough one. But yeah, I think I want the Fantastic Four #1.
Yeah. Between the two, just for its place in history, I would say FF1, just because they are Marvel's first family, and they have. I mean, Hulk 1 also obviously, they're both, great books, but I would just pick FF1 over Hulk 1.
Right.
And yeah, just like Comic Vet said, first family started all. Yeah.
Less Hulk are graded though. Yeah, that is true too. All right, and I think one of the last ones we'll do before we take off here is I saw Something is Killing the Children 1 versus Department of Truth 1. Me personally, Something is Killing the Children #1. Sweet and short. That's just my answer.
Face?
It doesn't matter to me. I got them all. Something is Killing the Children #1 just for the fact that it's going to be a lot. It's a lot lower print run, and it's already got the value. Department of Truth is going to gain value and everything, obviously, with the show coming and everything. But you could probably expect that to come from Something is Killing the Children also. And again, the value is already there on Something is Killing the Children. So
yeah. I mean, I got both series on my pull, but I'm going with Something is Killing the Children just because I feel that Department of Truth, even though it's a good story, not everyone might be drawn to that whole conspiracy, storyline and all that, everything that surrounds it. Whereas I feel Something is Killing the Children, although the title is Something is Killing the Children, it's in that horror vein. I just feel that people would gravitate more towards that than Department of Truth. And even though they're both great series and they're both written by James Tynion, I just think Something is Killing is a better pick.
Well, there you have it, guys. Something is Killing the Children, clean sweep 3-0. So, guys, before we take off, Face, what do you have coming up on your channel, sir?
Me and Keith are working on that special that we have been talking about. It's been a matter of scheduling. I've had some extra work shifts come up and everything like that, so we haven't been able to get together on it. And Hyper and I are still working on a show that we are getting together, which is hopefully going to be a weekly show.
Sweet. And Hyper, what do you have coming up?
Just doing the thing on IG and working on adding content to the YouTube. Like I said, I don't have a timeline when I'm going to drop them. I'll drop them as soon as I can. Like once I say I'm going to drop them at this date, I don't want to, not follow through with it. So I'm just working on a few videos I'm trying to drop. Yeah.
Sweet. And you guys can find them on IG at FaceTime and at Hypercombo Comics. Guys, thanks for joining us. I think this was a total success. I definitely will be doing another one of these next month. So we'll take another 20 Grails, put them up against one another. The winners will move on, and they will go against the ones that we just got, and we could definitely do this. So make sure when you guys see us doing the Grail versus Grail that you guys have your own ideas. Maybe send them to me. Let me go through them. I would love to go through them. Sometimes we're tunnel vision and we just see the books that we want. But it's always great when the chat gets involved. I appreciate you guys for joining. I'm 2 beers in. I don't think I slurred too many words or messed up any names. But I'll watch the rewind and probably catch things I messed up. As always, guys, I will say and leave you with this: sub everyone up. Make sure you guys go support the community. That's what it's all about. You never know who's selling, who's buying, who has information. So go do that. And again, you guys can catch us on Sunday, New Comic Book Day, News and Spec. Enjoy WandaVision. Enjoy New Comic Book Day. Usually when we end on Tuesdays, I kind of get like a little sad because like it feels like when we go live on Sundays, it's like I feel like I've been
I'll
away
be
for too long. You know what I mean?
I'll be honest. This discussion was actually getting me depressed because I'm looking at books and okay, I don't have this book. I don't have this book. No, I want this book. I don't have this book. It's like,
This shit is starting to feel like the ending to Lord of the Rings.
yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for me here, Newbie, Face, and Hyper. Thanks again, and we'll see you guys on Sunday. Good luck tomorrow on New Comic Book Day, guys and ladies.
Peace.
Peace.